amazing. The installation was super easy. You know, sharing with you guys that. Yo, that's crazy! Installing it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we have the 2020 Civic Type R. Today I'm going to be making my first impression video. I've been driving it for about 1,000 miles already. That's about 3.5 weeks, so I'm racking up the miles. I'm enjoying every little bit of it, and I cannot wait to continue experiencing and see what the car is all about. So today is going to be an update, pretty much like a month review or a 1,000-mile review. I'm going to be talking about the little things that stood out to me. So let's get started. And here we have the Civic Type R in the glorious boost blue color. Absolutely love this car right now in the sunshine. This is pretty much what the shade is on the daylight. At night, it's absolutely amazing as well. It kind of glows at night, and it definitely stands out, and you cannot miss it, that's for sure. The first things that stood out to me is the technology that they implemented in this model. They added Honda sensing to this vehicle. It's new tech to me. I've never owned a car that had an advanced technology package like that. And some of you may say, well, you don't need that at the track, but you know, most of us don't drive this car at the track. Most of you guys that get them, they're buying it as a daily. You're enjoying it on the streets. So it's a nice addition. It's really nice in long trips. For those that are die-hard track users, I understand. Most of the sensors are on this side, but you have your lane departure sensor, which is in the windshield right over here. Most of car manufacturers use that front emblem as to hide all the sensors and stuff. So, but Honda didn't do this in this model. They just put it right here in this grille and on the windshield over there. So let's step inside the Civic Type R. Oh, it was locked. Let's close this door. And this is what the car welcomes you in the beginning. Pretty cool. So let's go ahead and turn on the vehicle so I can show you these features. Controls are over here. This is the on and off switch. You can turn on all the features or off with this one. It doesn't say on and off, but it does say main. I don't know why they chose that, but that's the button for it. Once you press it, you can see in the screen over there. So if I press the switch again, or the button, you kind of enable it or disable it. So let's start off with adaptive cruise control. You enable it right over here. It works like your traditional cruise control, but this one's gonna keep the distance with the vehicle in front of you. So right there you can see the distance in front of it. So you can pick how far you want the car. So it works pretty nice. It's definitely helpful. It's more advanced than the traditional cruise control. That's a really neat feature that I really like about it. And the next one is gonna be lane keeping assist, that it's located right here. Once you press that button, you can see the lines appearing right there. They're not solid, so that means that the sensor is not picking up the lines on the road. So once that's enabled and it's pretty much engaged, you're gonna see those two dotted lines become solid. So that means that the car is reading the lines and it's ready to go. Another thing that I noticed about this car is that it doesn't have lane departure warning. Canadian model actually has it. The button goes over here. I saw one of the reviews online on YouTube. You can see the button is not present on the US model. I guess they didn't include it with the Honda sensing, but this car doesn't have it. It is what it is. I mean, I don't need all those sensors. I can look over my shoulder. Speaking of views, this car is very nice when it comes to visibility. You have a lot of space. You have plenty of shoulder window right there that you can look through. It's very clean and open, so they did a great job when it came to visibility, and I really like that. So I want to talk about the gas efficiency of this car. It's amazing, guys. In the highway, I've been getting 35 miles per gallon, which is insane for a sports car, and about city and highway combined, I'll be getting between 20 and 25, which is a lot more than my STI, whereas my STI was getting 13 in the city and about 19 in the highway, which is pretty horrible. So it's nice to avoid the gas station so many times. I noticed that they're using 0W20 oil, which is pretty light, so I guess that's one of the contributing factors in its efficiency. So pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna step outside. I'm gonna show you another feature that I noticed about the car. So stepping outside the car, we're gonna take a look at the gas cap. I mean, this is something so simple, but at least for an owner's perspective, this is really cool. You no longer have to go inside to actually open this. You just have to push it open and that's it. It's capless. You don't have to take out the cap or anything. You just have to stick up the nozzle. Don't ask me how I know that. I actually spent about 3 minutes looking for the little gas tab inside the vehicle and I just couldn't find it. So finally, somebody that was filling up next to me, they also own a Type R in Rally Red. He was complimenting the color of the car and everything. So I was like, hey man, I mean, this is kind of embarrassing, but hey, do you know where the gas tab is so I can put gas in my car? He was like, nah man, it's fine. You can just push it open and stick the nozzle right inside and that's it. So that was very cool. So I'm gonna step into the engine bay and I'm gonna show you the oil cap. 0W20. Pretty light oil compared to other K series, which are about 5W30, but I guess Honda has made a bunch of advancements on this vehicle, so it doesn't require that much of a heavy oil. So now that we're outside the vehicle, I'm gonna talk about the driving experience, what it's like to own this car and also drive it on the daily basis. So one of the things that I notice at night is the headlights. So the lighting that this car provides at night, it's insane, guys. Like, you can see everything at night. Only about this much lights up at night. This is like the low beam, and this section right here is about the high beam. It does have a nice wide pattern on the ground, and when you turn on your high beams, it's even better. So in visibility, you can see everything at night, which I love. Next, let's go on the back of the car. I want to talk about this wing. You know, some of you may think like, hey, is this wing in the way of the glass or anything? Believe it or not, you can't even see this wing when you look backwards. Once you're looking in your rear view mirror, you cannot see this wing, which is amazing, and something that Honda was able to achieve with this curve right here. It not only works as an aerodynamic feature, but you can't see it from the inside, which is really cool engineering. Now that we're done with the wing, I want to step inside again and talk about the comfort modes and all of this new technology. Back inside, we have all these features right here. You can select between comfort, sport, which is not labeled, but it's in the middle. And then you have plus R mode, which pretty much puts the car on full race mode, which is pretty insane. Changes between them are very noticeable. In comfort mode, it's beyond what I imagined. Even though the car has 20-inch wheels, this car in comfort mode is more comfortable than my STI, which is very rough compared to this car. So in comfort mode, it drives like a Cadillac, and I absolutely love that. The thing that I noticed is that this car kind of defaults back to sport mode even though you're driving in a comfort mode. So once you restart the car, sport mode is the default of it. I mean, I wish it kind of stayed in comfort mode or stayed in the mode that I left it in, but once you shut off the car and turn it back on, sport is the default. Kind of annoying to always get in the car and kind of readjust your driving modes. So for example, see, I put it in comfort mode and I'm going to shut it off. I'm gonna let it shut off completely and I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. So we give it a few more seconds. Let's go ahead, turn it on. And you see, it defaults back to sport mode. So one of the things that I noticed that I was definitely worth pointing out, at least to me. So speaking of driving experience, I want to talk about one of the key features that pretty much this car got a lot of backlash when it came out back in the day in 2017, and it was the auto rev feature. I'm the type of person that likes manual cars, very analog cars, so the more technology that they throw on it, obviously it gets more expensive, it gets more unreliable. It gives the car the chance to brake more often, but I completely understand this is a brand new car, 2017 and up, introduced the feature of auto rev match, which I learned to love. In the middle of the traffic, you're not always red matching, you're not always you know, in race mode, I should say. So it's really nice that the car kind of red matches for you whenever it's enabled. It allows you to, you know, lay back and relax and just enjoy the drive. It's very smooth when changing gears, and especially when you downshifting, it's extremely smooth. I definitely welcome the feature in this car, and the great thing about it is that you can shut it off. So if you're in the track, you're more than welcome to shut it off and do your own thing. But when you're in the city and just driving around and enjoying the cruise, it's really nice that the car does it for you. So I definitely give it a plus on that feature because I absolutely love it. One last thing that I want to touch base inside the vehicle is the shifter. The shifter is extremely smooth. The pedal positioning is very comfortable. They did a great job with it. The clutch is very smooth. I'm used to, you know, driving cars, or at least manual cars that are very rough and very mechanical. That car had a very analog feeling to it. So this car is very smooth compared to it. So that includes the shifting. It's probably the best shifter on an OEM car that I ever seen or ever experienced. So all the shifts, everything's buttery smooth, which I love about it. One thing that I didn't notice though, I mean obviously with time, now I have 1,000 miles with it, the car did lock me out a few times out of gears. That's because the gates in the gearing, the tolerances are just way too much, and sometimes it'll lock you out of a gear if you're not careful. If you don't keep it nice and straight once you're going back and forth between shifts, you'll hit that gate right about here or anywhere in there, and it'll prevent you from going into a gear. So I already experienced that 2 times, which was pretty annoying because I was in the middle of the traffic. But that's okay though, because I'm gonna fix that with a performance part. I'm definitely gonna be upgrading the shifter on this car. Stay tuned for that in an upcoming video. But nonetheless, this is pretty much the best OEM shifter that I ever experienced on any car. Big plus to Honda for making a great shifter, but obviously it has its faults still. That's fine though, because you can definitely fix that with an aftermarket kit. It seems like most of the things are inside the vehicle, but then again, 2020 brought a lot of features and different changes. I'm just touching base on the things that stood out to me, not only in aesthetics, but definitely driving experience, where this car definitely shines. I'm gonna continue sharing with you what I've noticed about the car, and the next thing is gonna be the cluster, which it's pretty stunning. So obviously this car has modes that you can change, but when you press these buttons and make adjustments, the cluster also makes adjustments for itself. Top left corner, you can see comfort mode selected. If you change it to sport mode, you can see the cluster completely changing colors. You can see those accented lines popping up, and the cluster changing as well. So if I go to plus R mode, it completely changes. So every mode has its own identity. It definitely gives you a great driving experience because it changes, and you can actually change and select different little screens here. So this is the G's, the red line right here, like the S2000, which is super cool. The turbo, you can select that as well. So it gives you a lot of features and definitely adds a nice, you know, touch to the driving experience, and I really like it. I'm really enjoying that. So the last thing I want to talk about in the interior of the car is the steering wheel. Guys, I mean, this is awesome and all with style points. Yes, it's suede, it's comfortable, it's nice and, you know, smooth when you touch it. Temperature does not affect that steering wheel, so it's a nice addition, especially when it's extremely hot out. You get in the car and the steering wheel is not blazing hot like the shifter, but unfortunately is not convenient. It's very slippery. You know, it's a racing steering wheel. You put on suede gloves and, you know, it definitely grips nicely, but you're gonna be driving this car in the street for the most of the time. For those that just bought this car for track use, I completely understand. It's awesome and cool. For those that are using the car for a daily or a street car, it's gonna get very grimy and dirty. The suede is definitely gonna get damaged, so you should look into a replacement. You have to hold it right about here and get a good grip, because if you hold it over here and you're trying to turn, especially in plus R mode, the steering wheel becomes really stiff. So if you're planning on driving that steering wheel with one hand, it becomes very slippery. So it's unsafe, at least to me. If I do decide to go to a show, I'll just put this steering wheel on because it's really cool and it looks great, but at the same time, I don't like it for street use, so I'm gonna be swapping it out. So that's why I'm deciding to make a first impression video. That way I can show you guys some of the features that kind of stood out. I'm also going to make a full review, a full ownership review about this vehicle, because most of the videos that are out there are from journalists and people that don't really own this car and they're making videos about it. And it's a different perspective and a different point of view when you actually own this car and you start noticing things on the daily. So that's it, guys, for my first impressions video. I hope you enjoyed those tips and things that I noticed about it. Very cool car so far. I'm enjoying every little bit of it. It's definitely a great purchase and I cannot wait to continue experiencing it and finding out what's, you know, the weak point, and I'm gonna start upgrading it very soon. So stay tuned for that, guys. It's gonna be super epic. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe, guys. Most of you are watching but you're not subscribing, so make sure you support the channel. If you have any questions, make sure you leave your comments below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, peace.